something you may know.
We are the internet's most passionate game show. You guys are going to have a lot of fun. You want me to tell them how to play?
Play the rules. Tell them the rules, my friend.
I will. This is what we're going to do. First and foremost, we're going to tell you some amazing stuff. Then we're going to ask you a question. Be the first to answer with the correct answer. We're going to send you $100. And then you get to pick any other person in the chat room to give them $100. Your best friend, your sister, your cousin's best friend's sister, anybody. And they go home and you spend it, you throw it in the air, you have a good time with it. Now, there's some share buttons on the bottom. Share it right now. Get as many people as you can into this room, because the more people are here, the better your chances of winning $100 are. Go share, 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 share. And you know what? I'm addicted to something. Are you addicted? I'm addicted. I am hugely addicted to lots of things. I can't quit it. It can't quit me. I can't quit it.
What is it?
It's the internet.
Oh, yes. And we're on the internet right now. And actually, less than a decade ago, this show wasn't even possible. No. Not without the help of internet-only businesses.
Internet-only businesses. SYMK, something you may know. This show right here, we're broadcasting you live thanks to Ustream. Now, the thing with Ustream is they took away from ABC, NBC, all the three-letter companies something powerful, the monopoly to broadcast live. And anybody can do it now. It's amazing. How do we communicate with you, lovely people? How do we send you messages? How do we do everything we do with you? Through Facebook and Twitter. Great companies.
Absolutely. And you can't forget YouTube, which we use to archive our old episodes, and also PayPal to send you your prize money right away.
And here's the thing. 30% of the planet is plugged in. They are plugged in huge. That is the new literacy. You got to know how to use it to get around, to make money, to do everything. You've got to know the internet. And about 60% of the US is constantly on the internet.
Now, all these people are using this one item, and very few people know actually how it came to be. So tonight, we are going to give you a very brief history of the very dense story about the internet.
Now, the first thing we're going to do is take away all the internet and crazy jargon that you're just not going to understand or want to, and we'd have to remember it, so we decided not to do it. And we're going to fast forward in time to the 1950s, where the internet first started going. How did that happen, Kristen?
Okay, so it's the 1950s, and scientists are pretty much the only people who use computers. And they're not these streamlined, nice computers that we have now. They are these huge, colossal, room-sized beasts that take a multi-person team just to create one process.
One crazy task. And here's how you communicate it from computer to computer. You'd give somebody a punch card, and they'd walk it over to the next computer. And we are fallible human beings. So there was probably so much redundancy going on just so we don't screw up, that it just took forever for that one process. And computers, once again, they weren't connected. And then in 1957, Mother Russia sends Sputnik flying into the air, and the first satellite is born.
So the United States government takes quick notice of this, and they're like, okay, we got to do something about this, all right? So they create the Advanced Research Project Agency, also known as ARPA.
Ooh, that's true. In 1964, the RAND Corporation. Now, the first thing the RAND Corporation does is they say, hey, guys, guess what? We're going to go to thermonuclear war with Russia, yes, but we don't want all the communication systems to go down. So we need something that is, you know, kind of, it won't break down. What do? They set up this web of hubs that can communicate to each other. And if one goes down, the others still communicate quite well. And guess what? That's the beginning of intercommunication via web.
And so a few years later, the first ARPANET host-to-host communication happens between UCLA and Stanford.
And a few years after that, Ray Tomlin uses the @ symbol, because they're all communicating via email by this time, to separate the sender from the network they're on. Think about how, and we're still using it today. That's how effective it is.
That's actually amazing.
Yeah.
And so by 1976, the first email commercial software is available.
How much?
For a mere $40,000. That's right, my friend. Something that you get for free from Gmail and Yahoo and Hotmail was 40 grand back then.
That's ridiculous crazy. The late 80s, early 90s roll around. You're unplugging your phone, plugging in the computer, saying, I want to be part of this.
All right, so I'm sure you all probably remember your first Best Buy computer package. It probably came with something like a color printer, a free 90-day trial of Prodigy. If you don't know what Prodigy is, it actually was an internet telephone service. You actually had to plug in to use it. And a free CD-ROM of Encyclopedia Britannica. And I remember as a kid having to ask my parents, was it a good time to use the internet, because they didn't want to miss any phone calls.
I mean,
That's old school.
Did we mention it was slow? Like super slow. Think about this. The time you would take to make a grilled cheese sandwich, your favorite picture of Jonathan Taylor Thomas would download JPEG style. Aww, so cute.
JTT forever.
Forever.
And I'm sure you all remember your first AOL instant messaging logon. Yeah, that didn't turn out sketchy or anything.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Now, the 90s, mid-90s around, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've got Yahoo, our first real major search engine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got weblogs, shortened to blogs.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful blogs, I love reading them.
Mm-hmm.
And then something else happens. The dot-com boom.
And
dot-com boom.
And we
And
can't,
what's a dot-com boom?
and we can't forget the birth of Google in 1998. He's really going to get it. .com. Boom!
Pow!
And then, of course, we also saw the rise of internet telephone systems, which actually led to the demise of AT&T's home phone service.
Now, this is crazy. 30 years
Mm-hmm.
after the internet gets started, it's beginning to look like the beast we know it to be today. Think about this. By the end of the 90s, there's 100 million people online, 2.3 million jobs, and it's bringing in annually $507 billion. Billion.
That's
what
over-
a freaking B.
That's over a decade ago, those stats are.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And so by the year 2000, after we barely scraped by with the whole Y2K debacle,
That was frightening. I was scared.
something happens to the internet. Its bubble got burst, the dot-com bubble.
Pop! Now, all these companies that wanted to make $10 trillion are closing down. But guess what? The internet itself is growing exponentially.
Absolutely. So by 2001, Wikipedia is launched, and people across America are selling their, leather-bound encyclopedia sets for like $5.
Now, here's something. Remember the 90s, late 90s? They had the beginning of these social networks where you can beat. I never used it, but Friendster and 6 Degrees came around.
I don't
never did
remember
use
those.
it, but in the 2000s is really where it took off.
So by 2003, after just 10 days of coding, MySpace is launched, and middle-aged men pretending to be 15-year-old girls never looked back.
Now, I'm not even going to tell them the story. You know, when Jesse Eisenberg comes around and rents the whole Facebook thing, and we move on.
He didn't. Oh, yeah, we'll move on. That's incorrect. 2005, YouTube is launched.
Now, YouTube is amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know YouTube was bought for $1.6 billion? Those guys are rich, right?
Yeah, just a little bit.
In San Francisco in 2006, Twitter.
Absolutely. And so if we go back to 1993, all two-way communication, at least 1% of it is done via the internet.
1%.
By the year 2000, 51% is done via
That's
the internet.
ridiculous. You want to hear something crazy?
What's crazier?
By 2007, 97% of two-way communication is done via the internet.
That's crazy.
97%. The 3% done by ham radio, though, is still important.
Are you sure that's...
Truckers and ham radio.
And then by 2011, just last year, Facebook and Twitter are the primary means of communication for the Middle Eastern revolts.
Resist, my man, resist.
Absolutely.
Now, the year is now. We are in the now, live and loud before you. And then we're going to tell you that the internet has a dark side to it. We know what it is, and we hate it. We loathe it. And a lot of people are trying to do something against it. But it's tonight's question. Tonight's question is, who sent the first email spam? Go!
Go!
We have a winner.
Woohoo! Who is the winner?
Zach Nadell.
Congratulations, Zach. And I'm sure you all want to know what the answer is. His name is Gary Thurick.
Gary Thurick. He was the first person to ruin our lives with spam. He sent 600 spam emails.
Gary!
You're really angry with this gentleman. Poor Gary. Now,
How to use another free email address just for all my spam.
Do you?
Yes.
I don't. I have 19 email addresses for spam. Now, here's the thing. You tell us who to send the extra $100 to, not yourself. And we'll be happy, love to give it to them. My friends, what else you got to say to them?
The next episode is actually February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. We hope we see you then, live at 9 p.m.
You want to do it at 9 a.m.?
No, 9 p.m.
9 p.m. it is. And you know what? Please stop by, read the blogs, enjoy yourselves, have a great time, and we will see you February 15th.
Good night, everyone. Congratulations, Zach.